Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's July 30th, 2019. This is going to be a brief update on the progress of the greenhouse construction. Now, as you can see behind me there doesn't look much different than the last video that I had posted where I had actually gotten the trusses put up. Since that time, one of the things I've had to do is haul out a lot of the materials, the aluminum materials that I had stored inside of the barn, mainly the rafters, the roofing support structures that go in between the trusses all throughout the whole length of the building on both sides, and the end caps and the awning sections. I haven't worked on the awning sections yet. But all of the areas, the support structures that would hold the glass if this were going to be restructured as a glass, as it originally was designed as a aluminum and glass structure. So when I disassembled the greenhouse back in 2012, one of the things I had to do was take off all the glass panels and remove a lot of the materials that were used as glazing compounds or contact adhesives, including silicone, probably some Gorilla Glue, materials that would help hold the glass panes to the aluminum structure. And I was able to get probably about 15 gallons of that material off back in 2012 after disassembling it, but there was still lots and lots of that residual material coating all of the aluminum. And given that this is such an important project for us, I really wanted to get this aluminum back to as new a condition as possible. So I've been working, part of the big project here has been trying to renovate the aluminum, trying to remove all of the compounds and the oxidative injury to the surface of the aluminum, because the structure's 50 years old. So it's using wire brushes, starting off by pressure washing, first pulling the aluminum structure out of the storage areas. One I had, many of it was in one small trailer that I had out back by the sugar shack, and the rest were in the workshop in the back barn part. So all of those I got out and put in the 12-foot dump trailer, and those are the rafter pieces and the partition pieces and the end plates and the awning caps. All of those pieces needed to be wire brushed and cleaned. They didn't have as much of the adhesive materials or glazing compounds on them other than what had dripped on them, and there'd been some oxidative processes that had happened to the aluminum as well. So I really explored how to go about cleaning the material up as best as possible, as non-toxically as possible. So a lot of it's just manual labor, and it's been some really super hot days. So I've gone ahead and I'm about almost halfway through with the rafters. The partitions, I got 50% of those done. The peak caps and and some of the end wall caps, those have all been done. But it's pretty labor intensive. It starts off with the first pressure washing, then I go ahead with a putty knife and a modified knife that I use to try and remove the bulk of the material and get that off, all of this glazing compounds, putties, silicone, and whatever some of these other materials are. And then I get out the wire brushes. I use a big Harbor Freight benchtop brush, benchtop grinder with two 8-inch wire wheels on that to try and take down some of the bulk of it. And it's really pushing the limits of that motor. It's a 3/4 horsepower motor. And then I'm using 3 different angle grinders and some other cordless tools as well. And they're all working well. It's just so labor intensive, and I've really got to get gowned up and protect myself because so many small particles of aluminum get put into the air, and all that oxidized aluminum, which can create a lot of oxidative injury to our tissues, that becomes airborne as well. So I'm doing my best to try and do this as safely as possible, but we're also having, for this part of the country, I know in many places in the world, they're having extreme heat waves, much hotter than what we got here, but in our cold temperate climate here, when it gets into the into the upper 80s, lower 90s with the heat index well into the 90s. Man, it's tough. It's tough for me anyways, especially when I'm all gowned up with all my extra gear on. So I thought I'd just make this video real quick. There won't be any additional video. I'll just probably shot a few frames while I'm talking here. But I just want to give you an update, let you know what we're doing here. I'm behind on some of my gardening and weeding processes, and pruning and thinning, all of those things in the food forest as well. But this takes priority in this situation. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I always enjoy your feedback, and by all means, folks, stay cool and have a great week. Bye-bye now.